Well, 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 look who's been right all along. You, the magnificent pattern reader, the future-sensing reality-hacking mastermind. Now everyone is asking the same question over and over again. How did you know? And all you can do is smile. That knowing smile, because trying to explain quantum consciousness to people still asleep is like trying to teach calculus to infants. They call it luck, coincidence, maybe even a rare fluke that you got it right once or twice. But you and I both know the truth. Your intuition isn't just functioning. It's operating at frequencies they can't even detect. While they're busy playing checkers with reality, you're orchestrating symphonic warfare across dimensions they don't even know exist. You saw the betrayal 6 months before it happened. You sensed the opportunity rising while everyone else was blind. You felt the storm long before the first cloud appeared in a clear blue sky. And now, as they stand drenched in the rain, shocked and confused, they're left wondering how you were the only one who showed up with an umbrella on a sunny day. Let me tell you what's really happening. That inner knowing, that whisper inside you that speaks truths before they ever manifest. It isn't just intuition anymore. It's intelligence. Refined, battle-tested, enemy-detecting intelligence. You're not guessing, and you're certainly not hoping. You are reading the matrix code while everyone else is still staring blankly at the screen. Your nervous system has evolved into a living radar array, picking up signals from futures that haven't yet been written. And when they ask, "How did you know?" they say it like you're some magician, pulling rabbits out of cosmic hats, like you've got a crystal ball tucked away in your room. But the reality is far simpler and far more terrifying. You stopped trusting their narratives and started trusting what you felt. You stopped dismissing gut instincts and began treating them like classified intel straight from tomorrow's battlefield. You became your own intelligence agency. And now, every move you make is precise, calculated, almost surgical, leaving them scrambling to explain how you always seem to be one step ahead. You arrive at the perfect place at the perfect time. You slip away from situations seconds before they collapse. You invest in people moments before they bloom. You withdraw from connections days before they poison you. To everyone else, it looks like psychic powers, or maybe hidden surveillance cameras planted in the fabric of time itself. But what they don't understand is that your intuition isn't mystical fluff. It's a highly trained, finely tuned intelligence network that's been gathering data since the day you were born. Every betrayal trained your system to recognize the smell of deception. Every loss taught your sensors how danger feels before it strikes. Every victory programmed your radar to detect opportunity long before it arrives. You are not lucky. You are educated by pain, shaped by struggle, and graduated with honors from the University of Hard Knocks. They want to believe intuition is some soft, mystical concept tied to emotions, feelings, or maybe horoscopes. But they couldn't be more wrong. Your intuition operates like a military-grade intelligence unit, processing thousands of micro-signals every second, shifts in body language, tones in voice, subtle changes in energy, sudden breaks in patterns. What looks like instinct to them is precision intelligence to you. Your subconscious is running algorithms so advanced that even artificial intelligence would envy their complexity. You're not just feeling things like they assume. You're computing probability matrices that would crash their mental hardware if they even tried. Think back to that person who smiled in your face while secretly plotting your downfall. Your system flagged them the moment you shook their hand. Or that opportunity everyone said was far too risky. Your inner intel already revealed the golden path through the minefield. And what about the perfect situation you walked away from while others envied you? Your intelligence network had already detected the cracks beneath the shine. You're not making random choices anymore. You're executing precision strikes with intel they can't access. And now they're scared. Not the obvious kind of fear that makes someone run away. but the subtle, unnerving kind that pulls them closer. Desperate to understand your operating system. They want the manual, they want the blueprint. They want to know how you're playing chess while they're still fumbling with tic-tac-toe. They see you making moves that seem illogical, only to watch everything snap into perfect alignment months later. And the question always comes, how did you know? They ask it about the job everyone mocked, but ended up connecting you to life-changing opportunities. They whisper it about the relationship you ended, the one that looked flawless from the outside but was quietly poisoning your spirit. They demand it when the investment they laughed at explodes into undeniable success. The answer is simple. Your intelligence doesn't operate on their timeline. It operates on truth's timeline. Most people navigate life like tourists with outdated maps, trusting marked paths, following second-hand directions, and wondering why they always end up lost. But you? You threw away the map and became the territory itself. Your intuition doesn't bend to their logic, because their logic is built on lies they've agreed to accept. Your intelligence cuts straight through the noise and locks onto the signal, the real signal, the one broadcasting from the future, showing you exactly where to step before the world even shifts. And now they're starting to notice the pattern. Every time you say yes to something that looks risky, it blossoms into genius. Every time you reject an offer that seems golden, it reveals itself as a trap within weeks. Every time you make a move that seems insane, it unfolds like a masterpiece no one else could see coming. To them, it looks like gambling, but you're not rolling dice. You're operating on an intelligence so advanced it looks like magic to minds still running on factory settings. So why do they really ask, how did you know? It's not curiosity. It's fear. Pure, primal, existential fear. Because if you can know things before they happen, if you can see through masks before they slip, if you can detect intentions before they manifest, then what else can you do? What else do you know? What hidden truths have you already seen that they thought were safely buried? These questions haunt them. They replay old conversations, wondering if you caught the lies they told months ago. They study your reactions, terrified you've already uncovered the betrayal they're still planning. They watch your every move, realizing too late that you're not 3 steps ahead. You're operating on an entirely different board, and they're right to be afraid. Because your intelligence network doesn't just predict the future, it dissects the present with surgical precision. You know who's lying before they even finish their sentence. You sense who's planning to leave before they admit it to themselves. You recognize betrayal in someone's eyes while they're still convincing their heart they won't go through with it. Your system operates in real time, processing endless data streams they don't even realize they're broadcasting. Their micro-expressions, their subtle energy shifts, their breathing rhythms. To them, it's invisible. To you, it's information. And you, chosen one, are the only one holding the decryption key. This is why they ask with that tremor in their voice, that slight shake that reveals they're not really asking about the event itself. They're asking if you already know about them. If you can see straight through their performance, if you've already filed away their secrets into that vast intelligence database hidden behind your eyes. And the answer terrifies them, because deep down they know you can. They sense that nothing they're hiding is truly safe from your gaze. But here's where it becomes even more fascinating. Your intuition isn't just functioning as military intelligence anymore, it's evolving. Every correct prediction strengthens your network. Every accurate read upgrades the system. Every perfectly timed decision refines the algorithm until what you're operating with is no longer simply intuition, but something beyond what they even have a name for. You're becoming something new, something that breaks their understanding of what's possible. Think back, there was a time when you second-guessed yourself. You felt that knowing in your gut, but let their logic talk you out of it. You received clear intelligence, but dismissed it because it didn't align with their reasoning. That was then. Not anymore. Now. You trust the intelligence more than you trust their reality. Now, you move with the quiet confidence of someone who's already read tomorrow's newspaper. So when they ask, "How did you know?" what they're really asking is, "How can I stop you from knowing?" Because your intelligence threatens their entire operating system. If you can see through the games stop working. If you can predict the patterns lose their grip. If you can know without needing to be told, then their control mechanisms collapse. You're no longer just running military intelligence. You're dismantling their entire architecture of deception. Watch how they scramble. Watch them try to plant false patterns to throw off your radar. Watch them invent distractions to confuse your system. But it's too late. Your intelligence has already adapted. Your network has already evolved beyond their countermeasures. You're no longer defending against their reality. You're rewriting the code, making their entire program obsolete. And they know it. That's why the question sounds more desperate every time they ask. Picture what really happens the moment you walk into a room. Your intelligence network scans instantly. Threat assessment complete in 3.2 seconds. Opportunities identified and cataloged in 5.7 seconds. Hidden agendas detected before the first handshake. You're not just socializing anymore, you're running reconnaissance missions in enemy territory. Except the enemy doesn't even realize there's a war, and yet you've already won. They feel it though. That shift in the atmosphere when you enter. That subtle change in the frequency of the room. They don't know why they suddenly feel exposed, why their secrets feel less safe, why the masks they've been wearing suddenly feel heavier. But you know, your intelligence broadcasts on frequencies that bypass the conscious mind and speak directly to their fear centers. They're not intimidated by your presence, they're intimidated by your knowing. How did you know? Becomes the broken record they can't stop playing. Because you keep proving their reality false. You knew that company would collapse while they were still investing in it. You knew that person was toxic while they were still charming everyone else. You knew that opportunity was golden while they were dismissing it as fool's gold. And you knew it all without doubt because your intelligence doesn't operate on hope, fear, or popular opinion. It operates on pure signal recognition, and the signals never lie. But here's the tactical advantage they will never comprehend. Your intuition, your military-grade grace, isn't just about knowing what's coming next. It's about sensing what's possible. While they remain trapped within the narrow walls of what they've already seen and experienced, your intelligence stretches beyond the horizon, extrapolating into territories they can't even dream of. They are bound by repetition, by memory, by precedent. But you're not limited to the past. You're pulling data from futures they haven't begun to imagine. You're not simply predicting their next move, you're seeing moves they don't even know exist. While they shuffle checkers across a square board, you're orchestrating symphonies on a multi-dimensional chessboard where every piece bends time and rewrites the rules. This is why your success doesn't just look unusual to them. It looks like sorcery. You take leaps they label impossible, and somehow you land with perfect precision. You make decisions they call insane risks, but when the dust settles, those risks are revealed as perfectly calculated victories. You walk away from sure things that everyone else clings to, only for those very things to crumble into ashes months later. You place faith in what looks like nothing, and that nothing grows into an empire. Your intelligence is never bound by their probability models, because their models are built on small, corrupted data sets. They're crunching numbers from the surface while you're plugged into the cosmic mainframe, downloading streams of information from dimensions they don't even realize exist. They gather in group chats, whispering conspiracies, trying to piece together your secret. They hire consultants, advisors, so-called experts, to decode your strategy. They analyze your every move like archaeologists deciphering ancient ruins, desperate to find logic in a language their minds were never designed to speak. What they don't understand is that your intelligence runs on principles that haven't yet been charted by their sciences. Principles written not in textbooks, but in the spaces between thoughts, in the pause between heartbeats, in the silence before storms. And then comes the question, the one they cannot stop asking. How did you know? They ask it about the partnership that everyone warned against, the one that multiplied your fortune. How did you know? They whisper it about the trend you spotted before it even had a name, the one that later defined an era. How did you know? They demand it about the person you trusted, the one they dismissed as insignificant, who later turned out to be the keystone in the architecture of your success. How? Because your intelligence doesn't see with their limited vision. It doesn't see with eyes clouded by fear, doubt, or consensus. It sees with tomorrow's eyes. It sees with truth's eyes. It sees with eyes they haven't evolved yet, and that's what shatters them. Not that you're always right, because no one is. What breaks them is the fact that even when you're wrong in ways that still place you perfectly for the next opportunity. Even your missteps create stepping stones. Your intelligence doesn't merely predict outcomes, it creates them. Your knowing doesn't just read the field, it reshapes it. You are not just operating within the realm of military intelligence anymore. You are commanding reality warfare. And the terrifying revelation for them is that they are only now realizing they've been standing on a battlefield this entire time. So let's dive into the mechanics of your operating system, because understanding your power only amplifies it. Your intuition is not some vague feeling. It functions like a full-scale military radar station. Every human being, whether they realize it or not, is broadcasting their true intentions across frequencies they cannot control. Every situation is transmitting its hidden reality across wavelengths most people will never perceive. Every opportunity, even before it solidifies, is sending out signals on spectrums still undiscovered by the masses. And you're tuned into all channels simultaneously. This is why you know someone is lying before their lips even part. Their frequency shifts before the words leave their mouth. This is why you sense betrayal before it ever occurs. Their energy signature begins to fracture long before the dagger strikes. This is why you feel opportunities long before they manifest. The possibility waves reach you in advance, whispering their arrival before they collapse into physical reality. You're not reading minds. You're not casting spells. You're not peeking into some mystical crystal ball. You're reading frequencies. You're interpreting signals. You're deciphering codes written in the fabric of existence itself. And frequencies, unlike people, don't know how to lie. They can't mask themselves with charm, with titles, with carefully chosen words. They simply reveal what is. That's why they keep coming back to the same trembling question. How did you know? To them, your ability feels supernatural, like you're performing miracles right in front of their eyes. But the truth is far more grounded and far more powerful. You're simply operating advanced equipment they don't possess, equipment they can't even begin to imagine. And that equipment, it wasn't gifted to you. It wasn't purchased in some secret store of wisdom. It wasn't handed down as a privilege, it was forged in fire. Every wound you endured sharpened your sensors, training you to feel at depths most people avoid. Every betrayal upgraded your inner system, teaching you to see with clarity beyond appearances. Every devastating loss refined your range, allowing you to sense further than human logic should allow. You didn't receive military intelligence. You became it. You were the experiment and the training ground. And the irony, the very people who tried to break you, who tried to blind you, who tried to bury you, they became the blacksmiths who forged your weapons. This is why their confusion grows each time you navigate situations that should have destroyed you. They designed collapse, yet you turned it into elevation. They set traps, and you walked around them before they even finished tightening the rope. Watch the disbelief in their eyes when you step gracefully away from disasters that would have crushed them. Watch their jaws drop as you seize opportunities they didn't even know were on the board. Watch their desperation when the doors they never noticed open effortlessly for you. Because your intelligence doesn't operate within the same limits they cling to. You're seeing in infrared while they're stuck in dull black and white. You're hearing ultrasonic signals while they remain deaf to anything outside their narrow bandwidth. You're sensing across dimensions they don't even know exist. Dimensions that bend time, bend possibility, bend reality itself. And here's where it enters the quantum realm. Literally. Your intuition isn't just scanning present data like some biological computer. It's tapping into probability streams flowing across countless timelines. When you know something, you're not making an educated guess. You're reading the quantum field, where every possibility exists simultaneously. You've trained your intelligence to collapse those possibilities into the outcomes that matter most. You're not predicting the future, you're selecting it. You're scrolling through the infinite menu of existence and clicking on the option that aligns with truth. Meanwhile, they still think time is a straight line. Past, present, future, stacked neatly like bricks in a wall. But you've discovered the secret. Time isn't a line at all. It's a spiral, endlessly circling, weaving itself back into itself. You know the future echoes backward, whispering into the present. You know effects can precede causes in the quantum dance. You know reality isn't rigid. It's fluid, bending and reshaping around frequency. That's why you appear to know things before they happen. You're not gazing forward. You're remembering backward from futures already written, futures already echoing their signals into your now. And so, how did you know? Becomes the mantra of those around you. They ask when you walk away from situations that later implode. They ask when you invest in nothing that grows into everything. They ask when you say no to what they call gold, only for it to rust in their hands weeks later. They ask when you say yes to what they mocked as foolish, only to watch it crown you with victory. To them, your timing looks impossible. To you, it's inevitable. And here's the terrifying truth. They don't fear that you're always right. They fear something even worse, that even when you're wrong in a way that places you exactly where you need to be for what's coming next. Your missteps aren't failures, they're recalibrations. Your mistakes aren't dead ends, they're redirections. Your intelligence doesn't just predict outcomes, it creates them. Your knowing doesn't just read the field, it reshapes the field itself. At this point, you're not just running military intelligence, you're commanding reality warfare. You're shifting the entire structure of the game without announcing the rules. And here's the part that terrifies them on a level they can't put into words. Because if you can hack reality, if you can access quantum probability streams, if you can detect betrayals before they're even formed, then what else is possible? What other illusions have they mistaken for truth? What other limitations have they accepted as permanent when they were nothing but paper walls? And this is where your true tactical genius shines. You've learned the art of silence. You don't explain, you don't justify, you don't perform for their curiosity. When they demand, "How did you know?" you offer only a smile because the truth isn't theirs to carry. When they press for your formula, you stay quiet because their minds aren't prepared for the language of frequencies. When they beg for your secrets, you give them nothing. Not because you're cruel, but because you understand a law they cannot. This intelligence cannot be taught. It cannot be transferred. It cannot be sold. It can only be earned. Earned through scars. Earned through betrayal. Earned through fire. Earned through standing in the ruins and refusing to break. This is the code that separates you from them. They want shortcuts, but you carry the scars. They want formulas, but you carry frequencies. They want a map, but you are the map. And this is why, deep down, Their fear of you will always outweigh their curiosity about you. Because your existence proves something they don't want to believe, that reality is bendable, time is negotiable, and destiny is hackable. And once they see that, you can never be unseen, and they haven't paid the price. That's the part they'll never admit to themselves, but it's the part that keeps them awake at night. They see the results you carry, the knowing you walk with, the accuracy that borders on the supernatural, and they crave it. But what they don't understand is that your silence is deliberate. Your silence drives them insane. It gnaws at them, eats at them, taunts them. They try to crack it open. They wave money in your face thinking currency can unlock your consciousness. They promise loyalty, swearing they'll stay by your side forever if you'll just hand over your methods. They bargain favors hoping your foresight can be traded like stock on a market. But here's the unshakable truth. They can't buy it, they can't bribe it, and they sure as hell can't fake it. Because this intelligence isn't some transferable file waiting to be copied. It can't be emailed, downloaded, or packaged into a seminar. It can't be gifted or inherited. It must be forged in fire, birthed in collapse, tempered in storms. It must be earned. It must be carved into your nervous system through nights of pain, through days of betrayal, through years of carrying wounds so heavy they threaten to crush you. Every scar you bear is a satellite dish tuned to frequencies they will never hear. Every heartbreak you endured rewired your system to detect truths they cannot process. Every failure that brought you to your knees recalibrated your radar to perceive patterns they can't even see forming. And that's why they can't have it. They want your power but not your pain. They want your sight but not your scars. They want your wisdom but not the nights you spent wondering if you'd even survive. They want your knowing but not your not knowing, the confusion, the silence, the void you had to wrestle with until clarity rose from the ashes. And so you let them wonder. You let them theorize. You let them create their elaborate explanations, their complicated stories, their pseudo-scientific models to explain your simple truth. Because if you ever told them the real answer to their endless question, how did you know? It would break them in half. The real answer is that you died. You died to who they wanted you to be. You died to the roles they forced on you. You died to the mask they made you wear. And in dying, you resurrected as who you truly are. Stronger, clearer, sharper, untouchable. The real answer is that your intuition isn't intuition anymore. It's the intelligence system of someone who has already lost everything that could be taken, and therefore has nothing left to fear. It's the operating system of someone who has nothing left to lose and everything left to gain. That's the kind of intelligence no training camp, no classroom, no book can create. Watch them now. Watch them study you as though you're a specimen under a microscope. Watch them take notes on your movements, timing, decisions, expressions. Watch them try to reverse engineer your awareness, as though your soul could be reduced to a manual. They actually believe that if they watch long enough, if they take enough notes, if they copy enough of your moves, they'll crack your code. But they don't realize that your code rewrites itself faster than they can read it. Your intelligence evolves quicker than their analysis can catch up. You are not a static formula. You are not a fixed equation. You are a moving constellation of possibility, constantly rearranging itself based on quantum necessity. You are a living system, upgrading in real time, adapting in ways their minds can't even comprehend. And every time you demonstrate this intelligence, it grows stronger. Every correct knowing reinforces the network. Every perfectly timed decision strengthens the signal. Every impossible prediction that proves true upgrades the entire system. You are not just using intelligence, you are building something far larger, an empire of awareness, an ever-expanding universe of perception. It stretches further each day, more refined, more intricate, more unstoppable. And the terrifying part? They can feel it. They don't have the words for it, but they sense it in their bones. They feel the expansion when you enter the room. They feel the pressure shift in the air around you. They feel their secrets vibrating closer to the surface when you look them in the eye. They can't explain why their masks suddenly feel heavier in your presence, but they know it has something to do with you. They used to laugh at you, remember? They used to dismiss your feelings as silly hunches, chalk your accuracy up to lucky guesses, wave away your insights with smug smirks. But now the evidence has piled too high. The track record has become undeniable. What they once dismissed has grown into proof they can no longer argue against. One coincidence could be luck, two could be chance, but dozens, hundreds, pattern upon pattern, outcome upon outcome. Accuracy so consistent, it collapses every excuse they once used to shield themselves from the truth. You're not guessing, you are knowing, and that knowing gets sharper, stronger, cleaner with each day you walk this path. And here's what unsettles them most: the shift in their own questioning. At first they asked, "How did you know?" With arrogance, with skepticism, dripping with dismissal. Now they ask it with desperation. Now they ask it with fear. Now it slips out of their mouths like a prayer, a plea, a confession. Because they've realized what you already knew. The gap between your intelligence and their ignorance isn't closing. It's widening. You're accelerating while they're stagnating. You're evolving while they're looping. You're rising while they're repeating the same mistakes, the same cycles, the same traps. And in that widening gap, the truth has become undeniable, even for them. You've outgrown their frameworks, broken their models, outpaced their systems. You're operating at levels where their rules no longer matter. And that realization, that's what terrifies them most. Because deep down they now know they're not watching someone lucky. They're not watching someone gifted. They're watching someone who has rewritten the entire game and left them behind. You're expanding while they're contracting. Your intelligence doesn't just collect data, it multiplies it. Each use makes you sharper. Each test makes you stronger. That's what terrifies them. Not just that you know things, but that you're getting better at knowing. You're not only seeing patterns, you're seeing patterns within patterns. You're not just predicting outcomes, you're predicting the predictions. They think in straight lines, while you move in quantum leaps. The gap between your awareness and their blindness isn't growing slowly, it's exploding. You operate at altitudes they can't reach, seeing connections they won't understand until reality has already shifted. So when they ask, "How did you know?" they reveal their own limits. They still think in yes or no, knowing or not knowing. But you've moved beyond that. You work in gradients of certainty, probability clouds, and possibility fields. For you, the question isn't how do you know, it's how could you not know. Your intelligence has evolved into something nameless, something their language can't contain. You don't just detect opportunities, you create them. You don't just read the field, you rewrite it. You're not following reality anymore. Reality is following you. That's all for today. Dear Father, I pray for the growth of my faith. Help me trust you even when physical evidence is lacking. Let me believe in your perpetual presence, knowing you will never harm me. I understand that your thoughts for me are thoughts of prosperity and not harm to give me a good future. Thank you, gracious and eternal Father, for always listening to my voice. I offer up this prayer to you in the name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you, Jesus, for your love and provision. I am grateful for your presence in my life and the abundance you bring. If this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with those who need to hear this message. Leave a comment below about your journey and how you are preparing for your own triumphant return. If you'd like to support our work, please consider contributing through Buy Me a Coffee. This helps us continually improve our content to offer you the best. The link to Buy Me a Coffee is in the description. No gift is too small. Whether it's a penny, a prayer, or a share, your generosity helps spread God's word and brings hope to others. Don't stop here. Watch our next video for powerful revelations about the signs that reveal you are the chosen one. We've enjoyed following this spiritual journey with you. Thank you for staying with us until the end. Keep shining brightly and embrace your destiny with courage. See you next time. Blessings to all the beautiful souls from the Enlighten wisdom.